it's good talking to people which aren't doing what you're doing, because then you're able to break things down simply, and it's going to actually help you in the long term. You know, being a freelance musician, I need to collaborate with a lot of people to get projects off the ground. Not everybody that I work with can talk about automation in Logic or ghost notes on a bass, etc. So yeah, it's been a cool week. It's Thursday the 11th of November today, and it was my birthday on Tuesday the 9th of November, so I was at the grand old age of 37, so really chilled day. Daytime spending with my parents, then in the evening with my girlfriend and daughter, so it was really cool overall. And had a really interesting conversation with my mum. Gotta love mums, they bring up great things. So go on to my parents as I do, and this time happens to be on my birthday, and my dad's in the background doing what any typical elderly Jamaican man is doing, flicking through all of his papers, seeing how much he's earned or lost from Betfred that week. And then my mum's going, oh yeah, how's things, you know, family, etc, how's my friends? And then she goes, so how's it going? And I go, but how she said it, I know, okay, I know where this is going. How's it going? Which is basically, because of course I'm new to being a freelance musician, so how's it going basically translates to, are you making any money? Or how's the money side going? And then I say, yeah, there's a few things going on. Done some freelance bass stuff, and you know, she goes, how much you've made from that? Well, I go, you know, I've made about, you know, it's like 50 quid per time. I've made about 4 or 5 of those. Music for a podcast coming. And she goes, oh, well, you're not gonna be a millionaire off that, are you? And you know, when family can just press certain buttons, in that moment I kind of went, oh, I was like, okay, right, here we go. Am I gonna get into defensive pull, which is sort of like snapping back and be really short of my mum? And I felt that, but I thought to myself, like, actually, it's really interesting what she's bringing up. So I didn't react in that way, which I was quite proud of myself. But we ended up having a really good conversation. And she was clearly asking about a lot of the things which my dad wanted to know as well. So mums are very good at that sort of thing. So it made me think around going through this path of actually being freelance, and then having those questions of how is it financially going, and instead of getting defensive about it, thinking about actually these conversations with family are really important, and then thinking to myself, how are family actually helping you with having this conversation about your dreams? So after that conversation, I thought about 4 things how they're actually helping me with having these types of conversations. And the first thing I thought about was they're helping you to prioritize practically, in that you got all of these dreams, and especially being creative like a musician, there's lots of things that we can do. But then you need to break things down a bit more, because there's the short term of bills have got to be paid. You know, I'm not a kid anymore. There's a mortgage, there's a family, etc. You know, there's medium term or things that I'm working towards, things on the horizon, and there's things long term which I want to build over a long period of time. Can't just focus on the long-term stuff, in my case being an artist in my own right, because I've got bills to pay now. I can't just focus on what's coming up in the medium term, because then I'm always chasing something. And I can't always just focus on the short term, otherwise I'm not building what I truly want to do. So just by having a conversation of how is it going about money, makes me thinking about how I'm splitting my time between all of these things. And it was quite a good conversation, because really ultimately my mum just wants a bit of understanding, because she cares about her little boy essentially. So that was the first thing I was thinking about. And then the second point being, having those conversations with family, how they're helping you, is that they're ensuring that you know what you're doing. So when she made the point around, oh, you're not gonna be a millionaire off that, are you? And I wanted to just retaliate, well, you don't know about this, and you're not in this industry, and all of these things, they're helping you to think about how things look from the outside in that, is it sustainable? And it is, so you break it down actually how you're going to approach it. It's like, yes, I'm doing that, but there's other things which will be making more money, and this is kind of supporting that, and breaking it down in that way. And also, it helps to talk about people which aren't in the type of work that you're doing. If you've got family which are in creative businesses, I can't relate to you, because my family certainly aren't. You know, some have careers, but the majority just have jobs, if I'm being really honest. And it's good talking to people which aren't doing what you're doing, because then you're able to break things down simply, and it's going to actually help you in the long term. You know, being a freelance musician, I need to collaborate with a lot of people to get projects off the ground. Not everybody that I work with can talk about automation in Logic or ghost notes on the bass, or etc. They like the creative side, but they're coming from a different point of view. So having that understanding is really, really important, because you can be clear about when you're collaborating with other people. Really, really important. And the third point being, it's just a reminder that they're actually interested in you. Taking this path, I know I can become quite focused and sometimes overly consumed with what I'm doing. And speaking to family about this is just a reminder that actually, regardless of how this goes, and I'm investing in it going well, but regardless, they're interested in me, not just about how I am when I'm doing what I'm doing. Regardless of what I do, I'm pulled to them, no more and no less. And that's probably the greatest compliment and comfort blanket. So it's just a reminder of that, really, that it's that it's about perspective, really. It's about perspective. You can get overly kind of drawn into these things and overly consumed. And with that balance side of things, it's really, really useful. I was listening to a really interesting podcast, Super Duty Tough Work, which Blueprint does, and he's talking about being overly consumed with your art, and I highly recommend listening to that, because it's quite a funny / interesting listen. So I definitely recommend giving it a go, because I'm definitely guilty of a lot of those things. And those are a lot of the things that I've learned this week, and I'm going to remind myself that when I get a question, so how's it going, Paul? I'm not going to regress to being 13 again, and then like I've been asked to take out the bin and then just do it and kiss my teeth in that. I'm not going to kiss my teeth. I'm not going to snap. I'm going to do my best to remember, so how are they helping me through this? Let's have a conversation about it, because ultimately they're just interested in what I'm doing. So that's my thinking for this week, and I'll be back again soon. And thanks for indulging me in listening to all of this, and I'll hopefully be back with more things which are useful for you. So take care.